My name is Kristjan Zadziuk. I'm an animation director in the video games industry. I've been animating for 16 years, and I'd like to think I know a thing or two about gameplay showreels. And it seemed to go really well last time, so I wanted to review Henrik's gameplay showreel. I wanted to point out some of the things that we like to see, some of the things that will catch our attention, and hopefully this will help people in the future looking to break into the games industry or to just kind of progress in the games industry. Let's just start. Okay, cool, good first shot. So we're just going to rewind back through it and then I'll highlight some areas. Okay, so first thing is like you've got good hits and then you've got a good quick second hit, so that would feel quite responsive. But then the problem really comes when you have this move here. And although the animation, it looks pretty good, what we've got to bear in mind that it's like, because you're moving back to go forward is never going to really feel that good, especially if it's in kind of the 3-hit combo state. What we need to try and do, so let's just out of curiosity, let's just count how many frames it is from the moment of impact. So if we were to push, let's see, so there you go. So when he starts moving, we'll just say that is where you would push the button. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. At frame 14 here, you are hitting. That would normally be seen as a heavy attack. But I suppose kind of at 30 frames a second, that's still quite quick. That's only half a second, right? So, but you want to get that immediate response as much as possible. So let's see. So I think it's good. I think that amount of anticipation is actually okay. Normally for a light attack, we normally have around about 7 frames, which I think I actually said in my previous review as well. What I would try and make sure I would do here, and I'm going to try and use this, is I would really make sure that we strengthen this pose. So we want to kind of extend this arm out a little bit there. Maybe we have some, like have the foot up there and have the weight down there. Maybe we have like a really kind of strong pose here. And we really want to extend this out. So this is more of just adjusting this pose so it looks kind of nice and comfortable, because this is going to be your impact pose. And with this impact pose, we want this to just feel like it's got all that weight in it. So if we were to then go through that, and then you bring in this second hit, so that would be, so if we say there's your impact pose, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, that's the perfect amount of time. But then again, what I would make sure is trying to get some nice kind of flow into that move, and I'll see if I can kind of show you what I mean by that. So, and what I would try and do is really whip this head round, you know, so it's already kind of facing this way here. So think of like a roundhouse kick. It's like the head just goes, and that's the first thing that always goes. So you've got that hit there, and you'll find that this will lead into this pose as well. So, because what we've got there, we've got this pose. So you see you've got a nice kind of whip on the head there, you see, and then the head goes round. You want to try and do that for the second one again, so you get the 2 whips. And if you see that as well, as like with these attacks, you always want them to be advancing slightly. So you see, if we kind of look at where this part of the body is there, so if we kind of mark that there, and you'll see that, see the weight should really be over this leg here. So maybe even if that head is kind of whipped round, you're almost kind of over there. So you're almost, it's like you're not off balance again, because remember all that weight is on that leg. And then that will actually help advance this leg forward. So we kind of go there, you see there, so you've kind of done this hit, because I can see that you've done that so you can lead back. But then what I would probably do is have this weight over here, because what I would really like to see with this sort of move, especially that third hit, I want that to advance. So this is kind of maybe where your problem is with this move, is because you wanted to go back with that combo, then it's made the whole kind of move a little bit off balance, because you always want a 3-hit combo to advance, you know, so whether it's 1, 2 and 3, but you've kind of got a 4-hit combo, so that fourth hit, that's kind of the big one. So you want the 1, 2, 3. You kind of think of the beats on that. It's actually a cool animation. But we've got to remember that gameplay feel is king. Right, so one of the 12 principles that doesn't work as well for gameplay animation is anticipation. So that's always a trick because we don't really know how we're going to do that. But with a 3-hit combo, we can kind of build that anticipation into each one because we know where it's going to go. It probably doesn't really need to go as far back as it does so you can come forward. So again, I would have the advance, so it's advancing a little bit further. So you can see this frame here, which would then mean that maybe instead of swinging this leg again all the way through, I would almost plant that leg to kind of get into this pose, maybe a little bit earlier. So it's like, so you've got this pose here, kind of ends up over there, right? And I know that may sound a bit weird, but then it would mean that you could still advance, because what we could do is we could make sure that that second hit has knocked that character back far enough, okay? So it doesn't have to knock it too far back, it just has to knock it back a little bit. And then you'll see here, because what you've got is you've got this static motion here, and because this isn't moving forward here, you'll see that it stays. So then when you do go into that back motion, it just accelerates really quickly. And what you really need is that advancing. Because I like the idea of it. I like, I like the fact you've got the hyperextension on the arms. I like the fact that you've got the dip into the hips and everything, and you put all that weight on that leg. I just think you could do it further back. Forward. I think you could do it there. And then always keep it rising. There's some nice extension there. I like what you've done with the arms. So the animation's good. It's just what we want to do is from this frame. You see, you've got the arms. I would almost. You see, you've got the arms there, and kind of there for this frame, and maybe have them like asymmetric as well. It's like, because it's like, I know we're only looking at it from this one angle, but then if you have them asymmetric, it'll just kind of look a little bit more interesting, even when you're probably looking at this from behind. Think of it from where the player's going to see it from as well. Maybe even show that as an example, maybe kind of, like over here or something like that. Maybe having it there, that could be kind of interesting. And then we'll just, it would actually help us see what you see as well. So it would be kind of cool if you made sure that you'll see whenever you see like gymnastics as well, it's like they will spin around something, so you don't want everything moving at the same time. So maybe like the head will kind of stay in a very similar place and things kind of go around the head, or maybe the arms and everything's kind of spinning around the arms. So you see where you've got this here, it's like if you keep the rings, see, because it kind of goes up, then down, then across, and then you really want to extend them back, and then so you're going to come over. And I suppose in a way it's kind of cool that you've got the rings, but you're not hitting with the rings there. But I would just add some delay on these rings, so instead of kind of being there and then next frame being there, is maybe kind of have them like over there or something, So you've got that. Then again, you've kind of got some delay. It's just bringing them back a little bit. And again, remember we were saying it. So that's kind of cool. And then you hold these rings there, and then maybe bring this leg. I like what you've done here. I would kind of really start to try and bring it around here a little bit. Maybe same with this leg. And then you've got this nice hyperextension on the whip there. Oh, and a 3-point landing. It's like, anyone that knows me knows I've got a thing about 3-point landings. Not in a bad way, I just think that they need to be appropriate. Here I actually don't think it's a bad place, so I'm okay with it. But normally 3-point landings, for me, I'm like, meh, but this one's okay. But the problem is you've got the head down, so to me as an attack, is like, this is like, how would you get out of this attack if it was, if you didn't press the next button? If like where you're going to go from here, because this kind of, it works well with a jump or a landing or something like that. And although this is a landing at the end of an attack, I think it could be a problem where when you're gonna go into the next gameplay action. Again, this is just an opinion, but I think you've always got to try and think of what your next move is. Okay, so you're holding there, then you get the head up. Okay, so but you've got some nice kind of hair flick on there, and then that's kind of cool. I do like how you've got up. Again, I would emphasize what you've done with the hip. I really like that. I like the fact that you're pushing off that and you're bringing that hip forward first. I think that's kind of cool. So you've got some nice kind of flair in here, but you see, again, it's like, so you've got this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame, and you see the arms stay very still. I would try and delay some of that. Maybe it's like moving the keys back a little bit for like one of the arms, just so it's like pushing off the floor. That may help. But it's almost like you've got two moves. So if you think of, again, just always think about how the player is going to respond to that. So if you're pushing the button, try and count. So even if it's a heavy attack, so let's see, if this happens within 15 frames, you should be okay. If it happens anything after that, it's a really heavy attack. Anything beyond 30 frames is going to feel weird. So you always want to try and get it below that if possible. So let's just see what you've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So, okay, you're just on the cusp. So what I would try and do is maybe bring it back a little bit more, and maybe that's probably taking off a little bit of the anticipation at the beginning. You probably don't even really need it, and you'll probably get the animation feeling just the same without it, to be honest. Anticipation just isn't just one of these principles that just works that well for gameplay, although it has its place. So I mean, I love what you've done with the actual attack. I just think it needs to just maybe be reined in a little bit. So it's cool. And also, yeah, I suppose in a way, because it's a last hit, having your back to wherever the attack is kind of okay. But again, always make sure that you can feel what the response is, and make sure these moves flow together. So, because if you start looking at this now, you always want this advance, so you get the 1, get a nice strong pose there. 2, that's a good timing after that. And then again, I think if you'd taken off this extra spin, I like what you've done with that step there, that little bounce. So you've got that. Yeah, it's the extra spin, and then if you're going to do this extra spin, you could probably have some advance on there, as I said. Because this, I really like what you've done with this. I think this works. So I genuinely feel that you can take off that middle part and it would feel great. Okay, and then bam. And as a finishing move, I think that's okay. It's okay. But this would be a perfect example of getting it in the game, or get it in Unreal or Unity or wherever it is, and then you feel, and then you can maybe kind of cut frames out, or you can change where the interrupt point is. That's how it's going to feel good, and then you just keep going back and forth and play it. As one of my colleagues at GDC once said, it's like, get it in the game. Get it in the game, and then, like, it's always good to have the animation that you want, get it in the game, and then see how it feels. Okay, so you got your walk. I'm not going to talk too much about this because to me it's just a standard walk. All I will say is it's like, that's what it is. It's a standard walk, okay? And although the mechanics and everything are good, I think what I would do with this point is I would use this opportunity to maybe put a bit more attitude in the walk. Maybe, like, know what your character is. Like, you could do something more with kind of the hair there, it's like maybe you could add some sway on the shoulders. Again, the arms seem very static, and like, if you want this to be kind of serious and maybe have purpose, maybe kind of lean the body forward a little bit. It just needs a bit more. It doesn't really stand out as a walk piece, although the mechanics are good, so that's okay. Okay, so next move. Okay, so this is your dodge move. Like when it's got the little bounce at the end, I'm okay with that. I think that, again, it's like it could be interrupted at either point. So, you could have an interrupt point there, or you could have it anywhere after that. I think that would work. What you want to make sure is if this is a dodge move, in the same sort of thing as a jump move, which we get to in a bit, is you want that instant response. You can actually fake anticipation after the move. And I know that sounds super weird, but then you don't need these extra frames here. So you've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're starting to go. So basically you're going on that 5th frame. But if this was a dodge move and an attack was coming in, you would be hit by now. So yes, you could kind of remove collision, but then that's going to be weird because then you're going to see any hits or bullets or sword or anything go through it. You really want to get them out of the way. So a couple of ways you can do this is you could, when this is in game, you can have a blend here. That's your first position. You could actually cut this part of the animation, and then you can maybe have those arms down a little bit more, so you have them kind of down like here, and again have them asymmetric so it kind of looks a little bit interesting. And then you could blend to this point, right? You could have like a 3-frame blend, 3-4 frame blend, which kind of gives you the exact same thing, right? It basically makes it a lot more responsive and actually makes it feel like it's moving a lot quicker. Then you can play with that, because otherwise, again, you've got back to go forward. And again, I know animation-wise, anticipation, this looks good, but in a game, it won't feel right. And I've done a move like this before, and I've had this exact same problem. Because you animate it, you go, that looks cool, but then when it gets in the game, it just keeps getting hit, and you're like, oh, okay. So designers want to take a couple of frames off it. So if you can control how that's going to look, you're always going to win. I would make sure that I separate the legs out. So you've got this pose here, and this is really nice. Again, you've got some really cool asymmetry there. I like that. You could even maybe extend this out a little bit. It's nice. I like how you absorb it in the arms. I think that's really cool. But you see this leg goes from this frame to this frame, so I would have a little bit of bend in that there. I think it will just make that read a lot nicer. And then you kind of hang a little bit, you see. So you've got this leg here, because it kind of, so that's the leg closest to us, right? So we've got that there, and you've got that kind of hyperextension. That's fine. But then you see that this leg should already be coming down here, kind of ready. You see, it's already kind of moved back and hung there. I think you can get that leg already to this position. Or, you see, because you can see that it's like if you didn't have that hyperextension there, if you had like this, let's see, let me do that. If you had this there instead, then maybe it would work. You could maybe even take a frame or two off this, to be honest. So when if you play through it, yeah, I think you could. I think you could actually take maybe just 1 frame, maybe just 2 frames, and I think it would work, because you see you're hanging in the air, and you've got that little bounce. So I would bring it, because you don't want that leg, this leg, going forward and then back. And I understand it's because you're trying to get into this position, right? So, but sometimes it's not the actual frame that you're looking at is the problem. It maybe it's how you've got there. So maybe even, to be honest with you, you could maybe even move this over here, which could, in theory, take out that bounce, which means that it's even more responsive, and it will still work and it will still look good as an animation. Yeah, so when you land, it's nice, you get some little bounce into the hip. And you don't have to have that bounce, but I do like it. Just saying how when it comes to being responsive, every time the feet are moving a little bit more, then it means that blends aren't going to look great. What you can normally have is when the feet are in that final position, then it can be a lot more responsive. Yeah, you just want to have that flow, because you'll see it's like you probably don't need those 5 frames. And then we get to your jump piece. So again, with a jump, I mean, I know animation this looks good, but with a jump for a gameplay reel, you want to make sure that it's as advertised, right? So if you were to have this in a game, then you want that jump to be immediate. But what you can do is, as you've done here, and I like how you've shown it from all these different angles, is you can really stretch out that extension. So really kind of, like have those arms go, or like if you're jumping, it kind of like your arms are in the air there. You don't necessarily need this part here, because if you're pushing the button, you're running, so it'll be push the button, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, it's like that 7 frames is good for an attack, but then when you have it for a jump, you want it to go pop, pop, pop. This is cool. I like that you've got the overlap on there. That'll feel good for the jump. Really kind of have those arms. And then when you have the landing, that's where you can have, in a way, kind of anticipation for the next jump. And I would have those arms overlap a little bit more, so you can have them and the shoulders go down and really kind of make it feel like you've got that absorbed. Like do something with the hair as well. So you got that, and then I think you do double jump. See, the double jump will actually feel pretty good because you can feel it's got that immediate response. But then what I would try and do is link those poses a little bit more because they're so extreme from each other. Because you've got that and you've got everything extends out, so you've got this leg here. I'd make sure this leg keeps moving. Okay. I even swing it round. Because you can actually probably get to this pose maybe a little bit quicker. But I like how you've presented this. I do like the fact that you've got the 3 different poses. You know, you could always have a bit of that hang in the animation as well. Okay, and then you've got this run here. This is, it's not as standard a run. It's definitely got some weight in there, which I really like. I also like how you're presenting this with the 360 spin around. I think that's always a good way for runs, especially. I think that's pretty cool. I just think that you could probably have a bit more swing on that. Okay, so overall, it's a good reel. The only thing I would say is it's a little short. So what would I add to this? Okay, well, I would love to see more traversal. I think that the structure of your reel would really lend itself to that. I'd like to see how this character is climbing up, maybe with the weapons in the hand, maybe without the weapons in the hand, maybe how they slide down something, maybe how they run up an incline, those sort of things. Maybe even you could have it like they're running up kind of a gradual incline, and then you can actually show how the weight is shifting as you're doing that. I think that would be good. I would love to see hit reactions. Like, how does this character respond to being hit? You know, maybe blocks. You could actually start to show more of how this system would kind of fit together, and then it would just be about variety. So adding more variety into the attacks, I think, is always cool. You know, I would love to even maybe see how it would branch off in different directions, at different points at each attack. Let's see. Oh, weapon reveals. I love weapon reveals. So I think that this is a perfect opportunity to highlight how the character is going to work. You know, what sort of things they would do when they pull out the knives, when they pull out the discs, you know, the sort of pose that they kind of go to, you know, maybe even just the way they put it back in. I always used to love kind of putting the sword back in whenever I was like making sword games or anything. To me, that was like a really satisfying move. And it always feels good in gameplay when you have those really cool weapon reveals as well. Overall, as I said, I think I just want to see more. Try and get it to about like a minute and a half. I know I've said that before, but I think that is kind of the golden area. You know, you don't want to just fill it with fluff. You want to make sure that you're actually putting decent stuff in there. But your animation is good. I just want to see more. So thanks again, Henrik, for letting me review your gameplay showreel. I really appreciate it, and let me know if you take any of these comments on board. Okay, so if you like what I've said and like what you see, subscribe. If you want to send me a message, then there's Twitter here. And basically, I love doing these, so if you want to see me continue, then please let me know. If you would like to have your gameplay showreel reviewed by me, or you'd like my opinion on it, then I'm more than happy. So just send me a message in one of these two, and hopefully you found this useful. Okay, so take care and good luck.